Assalamu alaikum. My name is Alex Hurst. I am the chairperson of the Newcastle United Supporters Trust and also the host of the True Faith fanzine and podcast. Tell you a little about both roles. The Newcastle United Supporters Trust is a fan member organisation that exists to facilitate dialogue between Newcastle United Football Club and the Newcastle United supporters. We have over 10,000 members. It's only £1 to join, and we essentially exist to further the representation between the football club and the fans and make sure that the football club is listening to football fans, and also we exist to help the football club in making decisions which affect fans. The True Faith podcast and fanzine. Fanzine is a small magazine about football that we post out and email across the world, and it's essentially to give fan voices a chance to be heard. We have an excellent traditional media here in Newcastle with the local paper, the Chronicle, and more recently the Athletic, springing up with excellent journalist views and news on Newcastle United Football Club. But I'm interested specifically in fan media, where normal football fans are able to talk about football, discuss it between themselves, and True Faith gives people a platform to do that. So we like to give anyone who writes in, who wants to have their article in the magazine or post on our website about anything to do with Newcastle United, then True Faith exists for them. I think purely it's the support. I mean, Newcastle is unique almost in that it's a one club city. You know, clubs like Liverpool and Manchester have more than one Premier League team. London, there are lots of Premier League teams. Newcastle is a big city and we're very isolated here in the northeast of England. There isn't much between Leeds and Edinburgh than Newcastle. So we have a huge support from a huge area, and despite the poor form of the team and the bad time we've had over the past 10, 13 years, the club still retains this huge support. We haven't won any of England's trophies since 1955, and despite that, over 50,000 people still turn up every week, and sometimes we feel like we need a bigger stadium to house all the fans, and that intense passion and loyalty to the club is probably not seen very much anywhere else, certainly anywhere that's had so little to shout about in the past 50, 60 years. A very negative time for the football club. Mike Áshli is hugely unpopular as an owner of Newcastle United Club, so much so that I'd say about 20 to 30,000 supporters actually walked away from supporting the club in that period. So disgusted were they. By the way, Mike Áshli ran the club 2 relegations in 2009 and 2016. A club like Newcastle United should never be relegated from the Premier League. It's only terrible mismanagement, a lack of care and attention from Mike Áshli had led to those relegations. And in addition, constant misuse and mistreatment of club legends like Alan Shearer, Kevin Keegan and Rafa Benitez was hugely embarrassing as a supporter, and we are delighted to see that his era is now over. So personally, I'm very, very excited. I'm very pleased Mike Áshli is leaving, and I'm very pleased that someone like the PAF or people within that would recognise the potential of Newcastle United and feel that they're the right people to help us realise that potential. That makes me very excited, and I'm very glad and very grateful that the PIF-led consortium will be taking over the club. I think that feeling is shared by the vast majority of Newcastle United fans. At the Supporters Trust, we often survey our members, over 10,000 members, and we asked our members, do you support the takeover led by the PAF and its consortium partners? 96.7% of members said they supported the takeover. So it's not quite 100%. There are a few dissenting voices and people that don't support it, and that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but I don't think that opinion is shared by the vast majority of Newcastle United fans, not just in this city, but across the world, who are very, very excited and enthusiastic about this takeover. I think the most important thing they could do as a first step is to communicate with Newcastle United fans. Tell us why you identified Newcastle United as the club that you wanted to invest in and what your vision is for the football club. So as supporters, we can all be aware by what your vision is, what your plans are, what we can do to help, and get behind it. And as long as both sides, the new consortium and the fans, are on the same page, I think the club will move forward really quickly. I think Newcastle United, with the right people from PIF involved and some significant investment, could be one of the biggest clubs in England and the biggest clubs in Europe. I think a lot of the ingredients are already there. We already have a huge support. We've already got a great stadium. We've already got some really good footballers at the club. There are some fantastic staff who work at the football club already. So a lot of the ingredients are already there. We just need the expertise and the brilliance of the people coming in to take over the club, to take us to the next level. And I really do think that Newcastle United will be one of the most successful teams in England, if not in Europe. I think there's definitely a role for Hall of Fame legend players like Alan Shearer, the greatest goal scorer in Premier League history at the football club. You know, during the Mike Ashley era, these players have been mistreated, ignored, humiliated by Mike Ashley. It would be a hugely popular move for the PIF and the consortium to bring back these legends and these heroes of ours back to the football club, so they can impart their wisdom and knowledge and experience on the people who work there, but also represent us and represent the football club to the media and to the world. So I think that would be, you know, a very, very positive step. And you see that at you know, clubs like Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus, Bayern Munich as well. Make sure their club legends and their Hall of Famers are integral to the running of the football club. I think that would be a really positive and successful move by the PIF consortium to do that, and I really hope they do. Okay, to share the views of a majority of Newcastle fans, compared to the video attached about political issues, the vast majority, like I said, of Newcastle fans are hugely positive about this takeover. Not everybody is. That's very rare in life to get a complete consensus, so that's not out of the ordinary. And like I said, at the Supporters Trust, we surveyed our members, over 10,000 members, and 96.7% said that they were in favour of this takeover. And that's a huge number of fans who say this is a great takeover, this is an exciting takeover, this is a positive thing for the club. There's a real excitement in the city and in the region, and there's also lots of talk about how the PIF can work with not just the football club, but also this northeast of England as a whole. So there's a lot of excitement, a lot of positivity, and I think the vast majority of Newcastle fans, nearly all Newcastle fans, are very, very, very positive about this takeover. You know, I think as Newcastle fans, and I speak for myself here, but we don't know a tremendous amount about Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabian sports in particular. We know that Saudi Arabia has a good football team because they've competed in several World Cups, and they also played England back in 1998 at Wembley. We also know that some huge sporting events like F1 and boxing with Anthony Joshua took place in Saudi Arabia. So we know that Saudi Arabians are huge football fans, huge sports fans, which is much like us in England. So we share that between us. We also know that Saudi Arabia is an important ally of the British government and the US government as well. You know, a lot of Newcastle fans will have noted the visit from members of the Saudi Arabian royal family to the UK royal family not too long ago, and a visit to the UK Prime Minister, previous Prime Minister Theresa May as well. So I think a lot of Newcastle fans will be learning a lot more about Saudi Arabia because of this takeover. There's definitely an interest there to understand and to learn about who's going to be buying the football club and where they come from. And I think a lot of Newcastle fans are very excited by the prospect of having a lot of fans from Saudi Arabia. We've already seen on social media quite a lot of Saudi Arabian-based fans taking an interest in Newcastle United. So from our point of view, that's hugely positive. Thank you very much.